Hey everyone, welcome back to Ferrigno Freedom channel. For those of you who are joining me again, and for those of you who are new here, my name is Dante, and I've been doing a carnivore diet known as the Lion Diet now for a little over 3.5 years, and it has changed things like I never would have thought changing what I eat would change things. And I wanted to be able to come back and kind of update some of my vlog information with you guys, because this is originally what I started doing, was just vlogging my story. And it's kind of grown into some more things where I like to go in and react to other videos and also come up with studies and things. So I'm doing the best I can to bring relevant information as I find out about it to you, because sometimes I'm learning things beyond what I learned just going on this way of eating and how it changed things for me. There was something I was learning today. You know, a lot of you may be aware of the fact that I've had a little bit of difficulty staying on a particular job ever since I left the retirement home industry. And some of that has to do with the fact that I have a YouTube channel and I'm so vocal about my beliefs. A lot of employers frown on that these days, so you can imagine that that might make things difficult. But by the grace of God, I'm still doing fine in that area. As a matter of fact, I'm getting back into something that I thought I would never get back into, and that's life insurance. It's one of those few products that I actually believe in, as long as the company has integrity. And I think I found a company that has integrity, so I'm moving forward with that. But one of the things I came across during my studies recently, as I was getting ready to take my licensing exam again, was thinking about the different things that senior citizens need. Because when I was a retirement home administrator, I was very familiar with a lot of the things that senior citizens would face with relate to diet, health, insurance, and a lot of other issues that involve their life. When I was still the administrator at the retirement home, I was starting to get into the mindset that I'm coming into this category that they're in. I'm coming into this world of I've got to see the doctor every 3 months to maintain the prescriptions I need so that I can maintenance my health situation and basically go see a doctor on a regular basis. Going back to my dealer to ask for permission to buy the medicines that keep me from dying, basically. It's one of those things where it really weighs heavily on me that people wind up getting on this treadmill that our medical system has us on, because as the administrator at a retirement home, I witnessed the way doctors treated their patients, the way they disregarded their concerns, the way they overlooked their problems, the way they didn't probe for information, and the way they didn't seem to really care whether or not they were taking their medicine as they were supposed to. A handful of doctors did care. A handful of doctors seemed to do the right thing, but at the same time, even those doctors found themselves being hamstrung by a system that didn't allow them to actually take concern for their patients' needs and find ways to help them get healthy. As long as they perpetuated a system that kept them medicated and coming back for more, they were able to keep doing what they were doing. I saw some doctors actually leave their practices because of the things they were experiencing. The one thing that I have learned in the past few years, since I have been able to put so many of my difficulties into remission, so many of my health problems, whether it was leaky gut, high blood pressure, brain fog, depression, anxiety, GERD, and obesity, something that I'd just kind of given up on at the point that I was 48, I realized people don't have to be on this treadmill. And I want to come back and reiterate, because I kind of get used to it after years of doing this, that it's just the way to be. But I know there are millions of people out there that haven't heard the information about what a carnivore diet can do for your life and how it has changed thousands of people's lives. So I wanted to come back and make sure that I readdress this issue. As somebody who is going to be dealing with people on a regular basis, trying to talk to them about preparing for end-of-life circumstances, we're all going to have to be prepared for some kind of end-of-life circumstance. Despite my health, I'm not going to live forever. But the one thing I'm comforted by is that if I wanted to get life insurance right now, there's nothing on my health that would preclude me from getting it at a relatively decent price, except for my age. And that being the case, I wanted to kind of come back and address some of the things that you might be experiencing and not thinking about when you hear me talking about a carnivore way of eating. Being on a carnivore way of eating does take a different mindset than say just for instance doing a diet. But really any diet takes a bit of a different mindset, because even when you're doing something like eating a bunch of salads or restricting yourself in some other way on foods, when you go out to eat with people, it causes social friction. It seems these days people are more understanding about it, but at the same time, constant interaction with certain people tends to still make friction appear just because you're not doing what everybody else is doing. There is a herd mentality among society. You know, we're social creatures. It's natural. So getting used to the idea of accepting that you're going to be living a different lifestyle is an important part of being a carnivore. And that's one of the reasons why I wear shirts like the ones I've made here and that I have available on my merch shop, because I want to encourage people to be comfortable talking about their lifestyle, because these days it is something that is becoming normal. People are hearing more and more about the carnivore diet, and when they see somebody walking around wearing a shirt like this, they might be tempted to say, what happened? What did you do? What did you look like before this? Why did you start doing a carnivore diet? It may also get some people who will be upset about you being on a carnivore diet, but I haven't experienced that. So I don't know. It's something, I wear these type of shirts all the time and I don't tend to get any flack, but I do get some questions about it. If you are at that point in your life where you feel like maybe it's starting to go downhill, maybe it's already gone downhill and it's too far to do anything else about it, you're at that point where going to the doctor is a regular thing. You have to maintain your prescriptions. You're on that cycle with your insurance where if you don't maintain the doctor's visits, that the insurance isn't going to maintain the course of prescription that you need, or whatever it is. All the friction that comes up from this system that we have built up around the notion of having health care because of all the government interference, it's really hard to navigate this whole system. But you know, it gets real easy when you're able to get rid of the health problems that you had. And that's what I've been able to experience. And I'm not alone. I have got example after example of people in the comments of many of my videos who have talked about what it's been able to do for them. I have interviewed people in carnivore conversations on this channel that have talked about everything from dealing with type 1 diabetes as a result of carnivore, being able to help them manage that situation, all the way to putting things into remission, like various types of arthritis and other autoimmune disorders. Even multiple sclerosis has been a recent one where we talked to Rebecca over at Cabana Chronicles in Spain. It's amazing what people have been able to do on a carnivore way of eating. I myself use the lion diet, which means I stick to ruminant meats, water, and salt. I don't eat pork, and I don't eat chicken, and I don't eat seafood. I don't add any spices or marinades into my food. And yet I'm somebody who loves to eat food. I was the type of person, I ate anything at any country. I was like that guy that would travel around, I forget his name, that would try all the different foods out there. I tried balut when I was in the Philippines. I tried spicier foods when I was in Italy. I tried things that I never would have tried had I not wanted to experience other cultures and the different flavors. I would go for the heavy, spicy foods. I tried things that most people would be like, I'm not even willing to try that. So I loved variety in my diet. But yet I've been able to do an extremely restrictive form of diet in that I pretty much eat beef almost exclusively and I only drink water. That is a miracle to me, that I only want water. And many times I use club soda instead of water. But the point is there was a time I had to have flavor in my drinks. It's all up here. I was able to overcome that because the problem I was experiencing had me to the point that I really didn't want to live anymore. But changing the way I eat has changed all of that. And now my prospects for the future are totally different than they were before I started eating this way. And that's what I want for you. That's what I want for you that's sitting there hurting, feeling the pain of many years of eating food that has got you inflamed, sick, fat, and unhealthy. You can change that. You have control over it. You don't have to wait for somebody in government to do something. Although I would like to see some of the stuff, the policies that are in place that are enforcing bad choices go away, you still have the ability to make good choices. It would be nice if we could afford to make these choices because government was making good financial decisions for how things were going to be done, or even better, leaving it to the market to decide, actually encouraging a free market. But since we don't live in that situation, we've got to do the best we can with what we've got. And that's going to require you deciding that you're going to make different choices when it comes to what you put in your mouth. All I'm saying is this. If you're concerned about many of the chronic illnesses and diseases that are plaguing older adults these days in numbers that would be staggering compared to 100 years ago, and they're affecting people younger and younger each year it seems, then you might want to take a look at some of the conversations I've had with carnivores who have put all kind of problems, all kind of chronic illnesses like we're talking about, into remission or even overcome them altogether. I'll put a link in the description of this video to a playlist I have on all these carnivore conversations. And if that's not enough, you can also go to my website, ferrignofreedom.com, and you can also see other videos that I have out there, or you can just search for them here on YouTube. But on my website, there's also a place where if you have a conversation that you'd like to share with the world, you can fill out a form letting me know your story, and then we might be able to put your story on here too, to share with everyone else, to be able to realize that they might be in the position that you're in and be able to get better as a result of learning information from you. There's also a link on my website for a carnivore knowledge website that was set up by my good friend John Barry that has answers to questions about all different kind of problems that people have been able to address with a carnivore way of eating. All I can say is if you're looking for a lifestyle change that you can really sink your teeth into, carnivore might be the one you've been looking for. It sure has been for me. Well, that's all I got for this one, guys. I'll see you next time.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?